All right. I don't know what's going on with these audio issues, but there we are.
How are you?
Hold on. I get some kind of echo here. Ah, fantastic. All right. There we go.
Good.
Somehow, YouTube started playing in the background and everything was going
Oh,
nuts over here.
oh gosh, I would say I hope it wasn't me.
No, no, no. That was all on my end. So, another professional intro. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. We have Mr. Break Together, Collect Together. Keith, how are you?
I am
Thank you.
wonderful. How about
Thank you for
yourself?
coming to hang out tonight.
Of
I am
course, I'm
good.
I'm honored.
It's uh it's nice to be back. It was weird taking last Wednesday off. I honestly had no idea what time it was, and I looked and it's like, oh well, I'm glad I didn't commit to a show because it is now an hour past showtime.
Yeah, I don't I'm with you on that one. I had these big plans too, and I said I don't think it's wise for me to do anything either. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, yeah. They had a pretty nice setup over there on the stage.
I some guy brought his stuff. I don't know who that guy was, but shout out to him.
Yeah. So it was a combination of things. PNG had a bunch of stuff set up there.
Okay.
My laptop was up there for a while, hooked to everybody else's miscellaneous
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
things.
Yep.
I think there were cords donated from all around the country. It was a whole piecemeal situation. But
Well, that's cool. Han said, without you, he didn't know how the show would have went on there. So kudos to you.
yeah, the funny part is I never even used it myself.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you certainly helped everybody else use it. So,
yeah. Well, I get the logo on screen for a while, so I mean,
uh,
I'll take what I can get. Yeah. All right. So before we do any more Brick World talk, because we,
yep.
we know that that's going to happen,
Oh yeah,
um,
we got a lot.
let's hit the rewind button a little bit and take us back a little ways.
All
Are
right.
you recent in the Lego world? You go way back. What's your story there?
So I know early Keith had something. I know I had a Viking ship, and I haven't looked it up, but I remember having the big Viking ship with the red and white flag, or sail, I guess you can say. I remember having some of those tiki minifigures with like the red headdress and the white horns. Couldn't tell you what they were from, what sets. Probably should have done some more research on that just to like, because I figured at some point people were going to ask me, and haven't gotten to that yet. But that's as far back as I can remember. And that was probably elementary school. And then from that point, I didn't touch another Lego until about, I'm going to say late, probably 2016, 17, somewhere in that point. Actually, it was the Thanos brickheads. So whenever that came out, I purchased the Thanos brickhead because I was interested in the whole Marvel saga, and so that I had it, I built it, loved it, put it on my desk for work, and it sat there, collected dust. Ended up moving from the house that I was in at that point. I guess I sold it or got rid of it, donated it, something. Um, and then it wasn't until 2023, we were coming home from a vacation, and we stopped at Barnes and Nobles on the way home, and my son and I went back to the Lego aisle for some reason, and I walked past the Home Alone house, and I looked at him and I said, "Hey, Bryce, that looks like a pretty interesting toy right there. Do you think you would want that?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know. It looks." I said, "No, you want that." So we we ended up buying it, and the plan was I'm a big Christmas guy, so like that's my holiday. October 31st comes for Halloween. November 1st at 12:01, Keith's tree's out. It's up. The house is decorated. I'm ready to go. Like that's my jam.
Awesome.
So the whole goal was now mind you this, we bought it in, I think it was like end of August, early September. So I did a little research and saw that the Home Loan House 24 bags. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. We'll save it until December. and we'll build a bag a day, and then we'll have this nice surprise for Christmas. Well, the box is sitting in his closet, and the one day he comes to me in I would say probably late September, and he goes, "Daddy, why did we buy that? Why did we buy that Home Alone house if it's just going to sit in the box?" And I said, "Well, I mean, I was trying to save it for the build up to Christmas, but I mean, are you interested?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'd kind of like to see what it is." So I said, "Okay." So we crack open the box and lay out all the bags. And have you built the Home Alone house?
No.
Okay. So the coolest thing about the Home Alone house is the instruction manual. I mean, obviously the whole thing's cool, but the instruction manual is the battle plans for Home Alone, where Kevin makes up his battle plans. And so it's like this massive book, and it's like hand drawn pictures, and it's just like it ropes you in, and you feel like you're in the movie. So we
Cool.
start building it, and I said, okay, we'll build a bag a day. So even though it's not December, I said, "That's okay, it's fine." So we built the first bag, and we look at each other and we're like, "Why don't we go on to the next bag? We'll do 2 bags a day." Uh, Within probably a week and a half, that thing was built, and, from that point forward, it was, "Okay, we're Lego fanatics." So, um, it was funny though how it all transpired, because after that, Home Alone house, we started talking about like what do you want to do, like what are you interested in. So we would go to the Lego store, we'd go to Target, and we'd go to the Lego aisles, and what do you like City or Disney, all this kind of stuff. And so we came across like some of the early on City sets, and he was like, I think I want to build some of the City sets. So at first we were getting some of the not the modulars, not at that point, the actual city sets where they were
Yeah.
some of the special buildings like the donut shop, all that kind of stuff. And we had them all laid out on the floor in our living room. So we would build them on the floor, and we had it all set up. Well, at that point, we had our dog. And so it was like having Godzilla, walking through the city, and the fur balls are rolling by, like you're in an old Western movie and you see the hairball fly by. And I said, you know what? We should probably get you some tables where you can build your own city. So, Christmas of 23, I said, why don't we go to IKEA, get a couple tables, we'll set it up in like a U shape. We'll slap some base plates down on the table, glue them down, and then you can just do whatever you want. So that's what he got for Christmas of 23. He got Christmas or table set up with some base plates. He got the loop coaster that year, a couple other Lego.
Cool.
So shortly after that, we stumbled across modulars on January 1st of 24.
Oh.
And the hobby quickly went from Bryce's slash family hobby to let's go, it's Keith's hobby. So walk into
Whoops.
the Lego store on January 1st of 24, and I can't even tell you how much I bought that day. Modulars, the haunted house, the behind me, the lighthouse. I just went all out. And like I had my whole adult life, I had never walked into any store, be it a Lego store, and just dropped money like it was nothing. I mean, literally nothing. I did not give any consideration to anything. And after leaving the store, I look at the receipt and I'm just like, this could be a problem. This could be a real problem.
Yeah.
um, so we got a few of those modulars, and when we got home, we built some of them, and we love them. I mean, absolutely love the modulars. I mean, they're just so incredible to build. And we did some research online, and we saw like all the older modulars that there were. And so we made this running list of all the different modulars, and which ones we like, which ones we didn't think we need. Well, anybody who knows, if you start a series of something, and for those of you that don't have this problem, I applaud you beyond belief, because once I knew there were X number of modulars, and excuse me for drawing a blank on how many there are, no matter how many times I told myself I didn't need them all, I needed them all. So
Oof.
yeah, so we went down that rabbit hole. Um, and yeah, from there, I mean, it's been a very fun experience. It's been a very family building experience as well. Um, I would like to tell anybody, anybody who listens to this, that if you have a child that seems like they're searching for a passion or a hobby, and they have any sort of interest in Lego, run with it, because we spend time building as a family and watching my son, build some of these things. I mean, like I said, we started at the city stuff. Like he was, um, what was that? 6. Is that 6? Yeah, 6 at the time. So starting at that and then moving up to these 18 plus sets and like watching him grow and build them, like it's a very rewarding experience. Just like
Yeah.
watching how his mind works, seeing his fingers work. The only thing he doesn't like doing is stickers, which can't say I blame him for that. But,
Yeah, we can all relate.
it's just it's really enjoyable to, sit down, like get the kids off the electronics and sit down as a family and just spend time building. Either like we'll build different sets, or we'll build the same set, and like one of us will build one page, like he'll be the left page, I'll be the right page, and then we swap back and forth. So, um, just very beneficial, and it's just nice to see a child kind of do like how the things I did when I grew up, because I didn't have electronics. I mean, we had some video games, but um, nothing like what's available now. So I think that opportunity for kids to have that exposure is definitely a good thing. So
Yeah.
so that's my story. Just kind of tumbled into it. I love my son to death, but I'm just gonna say he's the cause of all this. So because he wanted
Yeah.
that Home Alone house. So
Oh, yeah. Well, it's kids are expensive, right?
they are right, and especially the big ones.
Oh, yeah. So where in all of that did social media come in for you and having your shows and all of that?
Yeah. So I like to say I come up with grand ideas, and sometimes I struggle with figuring out how to make those ideas come to life.
Mm.
And so it was actually in 2024, I had this idea to start a Lego club at Bryce's elementary school, and then also at my church. Just trying to share the love for Lego in that aspect with the kids, and was able to do that. Love every moment of it. We just finished our second year, but with both Lego clubs. Um, but at the end of last year, well, I guess at the end of the summer last year, um, I hit this wall and I was just like, I feel like I have more to give, but I don't know like where to give it or what to do with it. And so I came across I can't remember who. Oh, you know what? It was actually again Bryce. He was watching YouTube, and he was watching TD Bricks, Brick Science, all those YouTubers, like the younger guys that are doing all these videos, and watching them. And I was just like, this is really cool. Like, even though I'm not that type of person making that kind of content, it's really cool. And then somehow I stumbled across Instagram, and I started, just watching the building stuff, and, looking at people's collections. And I'm just like, okay, well, I have a collection, maybe be interesting to share that collection. So I created the Instagram, and one of the very first people that I met on Instagram, actually, I followed him on my social media or my personal page first, was Jesse, Professor Brickman. Um, and he and I reached out to him, and I told him what I was planning on doing, and I didn't have any followers, yada yada. And he was just like, "Don't worry, I got you. I'll follow you. I'll share your page, so on, so on." So as soon as I got on, the first thing I did was share some of my personal mocks that I had built. I built a graveyard scene for a friend. I built a beach scene that I got. lucky, blessed. I got put in the Lego store for my lug. I was able to
Uh,
showcase in the Lego store. And I said, okay, so I'll share that stuff. So I started off there. And shortly after that, I said, okay, well, it's not doing anything for me here. Like, I'm not feeling that satisfaction of what I have to offer. So, what can I do to bring something new to the community that might be done in different ways, but how can I cater it to be my own? So it wasn't too long after that, came across a few friends of mine, couple shout outs if you don't mind, Mav, my buddy Mav Bricks, Jen Builds, met them through Instagram, and kind of got talking with them, and I started expressing like my desire to build a community, even though I didn't really know what that meant at that point. And I just knew like I wanted to build something that like I could call home, like mine, like somewhere that I guess I never really found my place in the world. Like I always had, good friends, and I like the different things growing up, but I never really had something that I could always fall back on and always be comfortable with it and enjoy it. And I think that's what I had in this hobby, or I know that's what I have in this hobby now. Um, Passion, hobby, whatever you want to call it. And so I was sitting there in my, I think it was in my office one night, and I was just like, you know what? I think it would be really cool to get to know people, like just to talk with them, sit down, just do these, one-on-one chats, and try to spread, share people. And that's what my big idea was. Okay, this is what I'm going to do is I want to share people. And in learning about Instagram lives, I quickly found out that when you do Instagram lives, you are capped with certain scenarios. And one of those scenarios is that when you're doing an Instagram live, if you have less than 1,000 followers, you get capped at an hour live. And so, right when I had these big plans to do these one-on-one spotlight interviews, I was that was brought to my attention, and I just got like this feeling like it upset me so much. Mav can speak on this one because he was there the night I went on a rant, and I was so angry at the whole Instagram algorithm and platform that I came up with this idea to showcase and highlight people that could be anywhere from one follower accounts to 1 million follower accounts. And you're telling me you're going to cap me at 1 hour when I'm trying to share something special about people? That I went off. Like, I was so irritated. It was a Friday night. We probably were up until I think 2 o'clock in the morning. Um, King Katie, she happened to be on that live, and we actually had her. She popped on the live to kind of like explain to me how the Instagram lives thing work and all that. And I was furious. And so I'm not a followers guy. Like, I love anybody who follows me. Don't Please nobody mistake that. But I don't care how many followers I have. Like, that's not what I'm here for. But in that moment, I was just like, okay, I was a few of my Bricks and Beyond lives in, and I said, I've had enough of this because I'm literally sitting here if I start at 8, when 8:50 comes around, I'm watching that clock to make sure that I don't get cut off, because uh, to me, getting cut off on a live is just, it's rude. It's rude to the other person that I'm trying to share. And so I made up this, because I didn't want to come out and ask for followers. So I came up with this little game of get me out of the Instagram jail, and help me break the $1,000, the $1,000 or 1,000 follower limit. And I think it helped. It didn't go as quickly as I had hoped it would, but I think it did help. And when I broke that 1,000 followers, it was actually on, I think it was January 1st this year. That
wow.
first live I had, I I said, I can't, excuse my ignorance for not remembering who it was. I said, I don't care how long we talk for, let's just go because I'm free. I can share you. I don't have to watch the clock. And it was so relaxing. But my whole purpose for the Bricks and Beyond was that whole thing with the algorithm. Like the algorithm pushes people down, and it bothers me so much because you see how many wonderful people there are in the community, be it from a builder to even people like you and I who just enjoy talking. Like if you don't hit that algorithm at the right point, you just get pushed and pushed and pushed down. And I have people I've been friends with since the beginning. I don't even see their stuff sometimes.
Right.
And it's frustrating to me. And I know you can, I still haven't learned how to do it, how you can like highlight certain people so you always see like the same people. Um, which that's great, but I don't always just wanna see the same people. I wanna see new people, and I wanna see what's out there. And so my whole big idea for the Bricks and Beyond, it had a couple different, purposes to it, was I wanted to share the smaller accounts, so the lower number follower accounts, so that I could give them the spotlight they deserved, and hopefully, and not saying I was anybody, 'cause I'm a small follower account, so wasn't saying I was gonna help at all, but my mom always taught me that even if you make a difference in one person's life, that's all that matters. So
Yep.
that was my thought, was if I can get this one person to even get one extra follower, then I did something for the day. And so that was my goal, hoping to help push the smaller follower accounts to get them what they deserve. And then with the bigger follower accounts, I noticed that there could tend to be some sort of pushback against larger follower accounts because obviously their pages are massive and there's a greater chance that they're not going to see a message or a tag or a like or something to that effect. And I've seen numerous occasions where people will say, well, they never responded to me or yada, yada. And so in that aspect, I was just like, okay, well, I think I can help those people too, even if they're not seeking it. I think like if I can show people that these higher follower accounts are just people and you need to work with them and understand that they're not meaning to ignore you. At least I hope nobody is. They're not meaning to ignore you. They're not trying not to respond to you, but they just might not be able to just because the amount of volume of things that they get. And so that's what I was hoping from that aspect too. So kind of showing the lights from both sides of things. Um, but the biggest purpose of it all too was just to build that community that I talked about. Is just to build people and friendships that I didn't have, and now I have. And before Brick World, I said I finally found my people, and going to Brick World completely summed it up. It sealed the deal. I was validated in my statement. So, yep.
Fantastic. So when you contact people for the show, do
Yes.
you do all of that through Instagram?
Yes. So I'm not gonna lie. When I first started, um, Mav was actually he was my second, probably second or third person that I actually talked to. I know I said Jesse was, the first one, and then Mav was the actual second or third person I actually talked to. And then Jen was the other person that those three, like we were the first three that I really kept in bond and communication with. And it was easy to talk to them, and, we were all same level and we all had same goals, so, easy communication. When I got this idea for the Bricks and Beyond, I started reaching out to, like, anybody and everybody, and I did come across those where I wasn't getting responses, and at first it frustrated me, but then I talked to somebody, I'll just leave unnamed. He told me that you have to remember, when people don't know you, if they have something that they've built, what they've built can be destroyed very quickly. And if they don't know you and they just say, yeah, yeah, I'll do whatever you want, I'll come on your show, and you end up bashing them or harming them in any way, that could be detrimental to them, especially if they're, counting on this as like an income or whatnot. And so from that point forward, I was like, I get it. Okay. So if I want to get somewhere, I need to be able to build my reputation up so that when people see me, they can say, "Oh, that guy, I trust him. He's fine. Like he hung out with this guy or this guy." Um, and I've seen him. I know what he's doing isn't trying to like put me in a bad place or anything like that. Like he's just a legitimate good person. And that's always what my goal was. I just wanted people to think I was a good person. And just doing things for the right reasons. So when I do reach out to people, it is just through Instagram. There were a couple I did reach out through email, just because they were bigger follower accounts, and I figured it might be easier to get in touch with them via email. Um, but I don't push. I send my little spiel, I guess you can call it. I invite to be on. I'm an open book. I'm flexible. Like I usually go Thursdays at 8, but I tell people if you can't do 8, then I can do 10. If you can't do that, I can do Tuesdays. I even had a few on Saturdays, just because they were either 16 hours ahead, or that's just what worked for them. And so, as much as I like having a schedule, I also realize that other people do too, and you have to work with them. If you wanna enjoy them, like, you always wanna put it on their time so that you're not making them feel like it's either like my time or see ya. So, that's why I always just try to be as flexible as possible.
Do you ever follow up?
So I have plans for follow-ups.
Okay.
At the end of each, I usually ask if people would be interested in having round 2, just kinda like a check-in. Um, Couple ideas, as far as that aspect. Kinda just see how things go. Like, I'm on tomorrow's actually would be episode 50, if I kept to it. Not sure what I'm doing for that. I might do some sort of live stream where I just have people come and go, and just if they want to ask me anything, just kind of do something out of the norm. If not, if I don't end up doing that, episode 50, I have somebody scheduled for next week, so there'll be the 50th one there. So yeah, I mean, anybody that I've had on, I do try to at least check in and be like, hey, how you doing? What's going on. But I do have plans to have a round 2, just because like some of these, we're at least over half a year since I last talked to him, like on a platform like this. So a lot changes, and that was one of my things, is just like I want to revisit them in a setting like this, because there's a few people that have told me, you know, thanks for like giving me the ability to have open eyes now to like feel comfortable in these kind of settings. Because there was a couple people that they were, I'll just say, a little camera shy, which I thought I would be too, but now I'm ever since I did the lives, I'd rather do a live than do some sort of long form, because I'm not an edit person. So I just go live. You can see me how I truly am. So what you see is what you get. I hope that showed in Brick World, like how who I was when we met. Like I hope that
Yeah.
portrays the same, on this too. But um yeah, it's nice to that's what's nice about social media, is you can literally connect with anybody at any time. So um it's just nice to be able to catch up with anybody. But yes, I do have plans to revisit people. So
If you, I don't know if you watch Full of Brick and Brick Adjuster and Brick Zapper,
yeah, yeah,
Nick
yeah.
and Maria.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
So when they have repeat guests on,
Yep.
it's usually they were joking about it recently. I forget what the time frame was, 14 to 16 months, somewhere in
Okay.
there is the
Yep.
average. And they're hundreds of episodes deep, and
Sure.
they they know basically everyone at this
Yeah.
point. And I was thinking after, well, actually during Brick World, it's like you meet all of these people, and in person and in situations like this, it's so hard to keep up with everybody
I know.
beyond, maybe just throwing a like here and there, or,
Yep.
a little comment.
Yep.
If you talk to them 6 months later, 10 years have gone by,
I
you
know.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's maybe when I schedule these, I should say, okay, this is your schedule one, and then why don't we write on the calendar? This is going to be number two, so we can catch up. But you're right. I mean, but that's why I said it's about like I don't get how the algorithm works. Like I don't understand that kind of stuff. Like that's not my wheelhouse. Um, I guess if you interact more with a person, like obviously, I guess you're going to see them more than others, but the more people you follow, then it's like where you can only do so much in a given day. And I'm not gonna lie, there's some days where like if I'm busy at work and I don't check my phone, I'm just like, it's like the world's a different place. I'm just like, who's this? I've never seen this person before. So,
Yeah, yeah.
which isn't a bad thing.
It's so hard. I'm only on Instagram in like 3-minute increments at
Yeah.
best. So basically, I scroll stories
Mhm.
and then I'm gone.
Yeah,
And then maybe I can come back once or twice during the day.
sure.
But it's the same thing. I go through stories. I never scroll the feed. I have no
Okay.
idea what happens in there
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all. And then it'll be like Saturday, and I'll have an extra 10 minutes, and I'll scroll the feed, and it's shocking what you missed during the
Yeah.
course of the
Oh,
week.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all these people are doing all these fun things, and here I am working and,
Yeah. Well,
wasting
and
my time.
the thing right now is, I mean, obviously, Brick World just happened, and so like I have some things planned from Brick World that I plan on posting, but I'm waiting. I'm just letting the whole initial thing go out because, as with a lot of things, it's like you got so much stuff on your phone, so much you want to share, and everybody does it. And I loved it. I found pictures that I've been able to save because I didn't know they were taken. Um,
Yep.
and I actually had a post or a story up the other day. I said, "Hey, if we took a picture, can you send it to me because I, I don't have it." Um, but yeah, I have a couple ideas of something I'm going to do here probably next week or maybe even the week after, just after the hype dies down a little bit. Um, because there's just so much. I mean, there's just so much stuff that from the builds to the meets that people had, the games that were played there, all the events. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, it's a couple days. When was it? I don't know. It was like it was actually the day before Austin left for
Mhm.
Chicago. He was on, and he said, you're not going to see everything while you're there. Even getting there Tuesday,
Yep.
so you're there first thing Wednesday morning,
Yep.
you're not going to see everything. Well, I spent 5 or I don't know, 4 days basically walking that floor, and I'm still seeing videos of things that I
Yeah.
swear I never even walked past.
Yep. I know.
It's people that I knew were gonna go that I never saw at any point in time, standing next to people I was hanging out with, and still we never crossed paths.
Uh,
So
I had so my two friends, Josh and Caitlin, that I drove out with me. It was
mhm,
funny because I felt really bad. I loved being with them, but sometimes I felt like I was, keeping them like if they were tired because I was their ride. And I said I felt bad, if they were tired or I was running around like a madman. I mean, I was just darting here and there and here and there and trying to see the build, trying to see people, trying to go this place, that place. And I just like I was like a kid in a candy store, and um I already said for next year, like I gotta be more like schedule oriented. Like I have to tell people or talk to people and be like, why don't let's figure out a time to meet and then we can do like a little chat and then that way we're not playing like this chasing game around the convention center because I'd get a message from somebody that I'm over at table one and then as I'm walking to table one, well, I'm at table 34 and then it's just like where do I go or who do I see? And um I loved it like that's me, like, I'm a people person, and I loved every moment of it, but I can also see, like, how annoying that could be to somebody else being like, "This guy just won't stop." Like, he's just, like, he's nonstop, like, just enjoy it, and but to me, like, that's how I enjoyed it, like, if I had downtime, I'm not a downtime person, like, I always like to
yeah,
be on the move, and even I think I had Disney World number of steps. I think I was close and almost 15,000 steps a day. So, um, that tells me I was on the grind. Um, but it's hard. It really is hard to try to capture everything. And like you said, you it's just virtually impossible. I mean, even in I got there Thursday, so you had 2-day head start on me and you still didn't see everything.
No, and I don't understand. Like I truly cannot understand how it happens.
Yeah.
Like same thing, you know. I forget one day, uh, Tanya, my wife, she looked and she was at like 17,000 steps, and it was dinner time.
Yeah.
We weren't ending our nights until 2 a.m.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
uh,
I am
I don't understand.
I'm still hurting as far as the amount of sleep
We
I'm
average
hurting.
18,000 to 20,000 steps a day there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
So
did.
that's a Disney
Yeah,
World trip. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's very
yeah.
much a day at Disney World. And to for anybody that doesn't or if you haven't been to Disney World or if you haven't been to Brick World, that's two drastic different spaces. I mean, we're
Yep.
talking Disney World is massive. So doing 20,000 steps at Disney World, that's understandable. Brick World's a convention space. Now, it is a big convention space, but I don't know how many Brick Worlds do you think we could fit in Disney World?
Oh God.
10, 15?
Yeah, a lot. So Mark said this year, they were able to occupy 125,000 square feet, which is still a crazy number. But really, it's one hall and 6 or 8 rooms. So it's not that, it's a glorified hotel, right? It's a hotel with a giant warehouse attached, more or less. Hey, Slurpee's here. Uh-oh. Did I go deaf or you mute? Oh, you're muted.
That's me. I don't know. Something
Yeah.
happened there.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
yeah, I mean, it's that blows my mind just thinking of the difference in size of Brick World and Disney World, but you fit in the same amount of steps in
Yep.
such a small I mean, and it's not small in convention size, but when you're comparing it to that, that's small. So, I will say though, getting that many steps in means I can eat whatever I want. So I shoved it all down and I didn't gain a pound because I walk so much.
Yep. Yeah. That's a pretty good feature. Although I feel like I barely ate the entire trip.
That's true
I
too.
mean, I don't eat a ton anyway.
Yeah.
I'm very much a one meal a day guy,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
still, a couple little snacks here and there, and like a quick meal most of the
Yep.
time. It just
Yep.
kept going.
Yeah. Yeah, that's we were up probably till it was usually anywhere between 1:30 and 3 every
Yep.
morning. And then I think two of those mornings, that next morning, um, Mav and I were going grabbing coffee at 7:30. So I mean,
Yep.
literally there was not much there was not and I couldn't sleep. I mean, I was just too amped. That's the thing with those passes that we had. I mean, since you can get in at all hours, it's like I don't care about sleep. Like I'll make it up. We'll go back to sleep after Brick World's over. Like I want to be there because people are building, your friends are there, and you realize that you have such a short time to be with those people, which has already been talked about. We will be getting there earlier next year. You have such a short time to actually enjoy these people that you virtually chat with for all 300 some rest of the days of the year. And so you have to really take advantage of those opportunities to actually physically spend time with those people. So,
Yeah, I I'm really starting to understand why people push for Monday to Monday. I
yeah,
don't, although I'm not 100% sure I have it in me to do the whole day Sunday.
fair.
Like I would like to be there for the award ceremony, closing
Yeah,
ceremonies that
yeah.
I'm bummed out I missed that. It's the public hours are rough. Like
They were.
I'd rather be off premises for that and then
They
just
were.
come
Yeah,
back, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, that was it definitely was interesting having the experience just with all the pass holders or AFOLs, whatever we want to call. I'm sure there were AFOLs there on public days too, but um, having that experience of being there without the general public there
Yeah.
was so nice to just casually walk through. And this comes back to your point. Even though we had that time, we still missed stuff, which blows my mind, because I thought I saw everything. And we were walking through, I think it was one of the public days, and I was just like, "That wasn't here the other day." And then, I think it was probably, Caitlin or Josh, they were just like, "Yeah, it was. You were just too busy running around everywhere." So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, it's well worth it, to get those passes, even if you're only gonna be there a day or 2. I still think it's worth it just to have access, 24 hours and go see what people are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, whatever you want to call them, the little events happening in there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The where teaching you how to do stop motion,
Yeah, yeah.
or
Yep.
it's the add power functions.
Yep.
I didn't do any of those. The- I would
Nope.
love to, but
Yep.
there was no time for it. I
Yep.
didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that, thinking about that, I mean, it's tough because I guess it just depends on, like, how you wanna spend your time. I mean, it's hard, like, there's a couple things I saw that I'd like to do, and I know you don't have to make it about, yourself or anybody else, but I guess, like, when I was thinking, "Oh, if I go to this event or whatever," it's like, "Well, but then I'll be missing out with my friends, if they don't wanna go." And I think that's just what it kept going back to me is because I'm such a people person and I've finally found these people that I can call, like, best friends, like, legitimately best friends. Um, because most of us don't live even remotely close to each other, you don't get these opportunities to be with them. And so
Yeah.
that's what made it so hard for me is like I don't want to go do anything because then that's time away that I don't get to spend with these people. Um, so would I have liked to have done stuff? Yes. Uh, but I'm not gonna do it unless I have people with me. So it's
Yeah.
it's like a double-edged sword, you know?
Yeah. I think, what did we do? 4? I think 4 times we sat down. The opening
Okay.
ceremonies or the keynote, whatever. I'm really glad I did that.
Uh-huh.
It's Mark is amazing, and
He
seeing him on
is.
stage
Yeah.
was great.
Yep.
We did the ACOB set release party.
Oh yeah. Okay.
There was no way we could miss that.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, State of Lego Star Wars.
Okay.
Basically the same situation, more to support the people on
Sure.
stage, make sure they have a big room.
Yep.
And we did the stop motion competition.
I heard that was good.
Yeah, that was great, and Slurpee, who popped in a minute ago, he actually won an award there,
Oh,
so
congratulations.
we were there to support him more
Yeah.
than actually see anything else.
Yep.
I'm also gonna complain publicly that he should have won the best picture there.
It's on
I really
file.
think so.
Noted.
Yep, yep. I'm a little upset, a little upset. That's,
I'm still waiting for
the
those. Did they announce those yet? Or did they post the winners yet?
I've seen a lot of them posted in my feed. I have
Yeah, yeah.
not seen, like, a comprehensive list yet,
Okay. Yeah,
so
I thought somebody said I think it might have been Josh Superhawk Bricks. I think he said they do put like a compilation listing at the end that shows like who won everything. I don't know if that's on the Brick World events page or if it goes on the website or something. But I've been waiting to see that just to see, what everything was and who won everything. Um, so many people that deserve to be showcased, even those that didn't win, all deserve to be showcased. But yeah, that was one thing I wished I could have made was the awards and all that too. So
yeah,
again trying to get back. It's Father's Day, which is an unfortunate thing that I think I heard there's 2 more years on the Father's Day weekend, so I don't know if it'll change after that, but um, tried to get home to see Bryce, before the end of the day. Luckily, I was able to, so that was nice. But um, just a lot of running around. So
Yeah, it's Ben Z Cerberus, who's Mark's co-host
yeah.
when they do their show there. He won Brick World Master,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
which I was pretty excited about because
Yeah.
I think he's an absolute legend as
Yeah.
far as that goes.
Yep.
I thought that one was cool. A lot of the awards that I've seen in my feed, though, it's just a little picture of
Mm,
the award,
okay.
and it's like, show me the build.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because some of these people, I don't know, I can't connect the person to the build.
Yeah. Yep. I
Like,
know.
it's that's how you market yourself. Show
I
me
know.
you and the build,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of people behind those tables.
I noticed Mav and I actually were talking about this because we wanted to highlight some of the builds on our podcast on Monday. And again, in all of the chaos, we have all this footage and nobody to credit.
Yep.
So it's like, well, we're not going to show pictures of stuff and not credit the people that built it. I was just like, man, we really poorly planned for this. I mean,
It's hard.
it is. Yeah. I mean, then I look at Kohan and he's just like, he came rolling in and he had all these plans and then he's sweating bullets over there like, oh, geez, am I going to get this all done? And I'm over here like, geez, man, maybe I should have done a little bit more. I just came and just lived my life.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? That's actually not a bad thing to do either. But I think trying to find a nice balance of just enjoying everything. But if you are a content creator, like trying to spend a little bit, like probably at nighttime, that 1 o'clock time in the morning, like where there's not a lot of people there. I think that would be a really good time to go around and document the builds, the builder, just kind of highlight everything. I should have done that. I didn't do that. I say I'll do that next year, but if you invite me back after Brick World, I'll probably tell you the same thing. I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So watching some of the content guys, it's a little weird being
Mhm.
like on the other side of the camera, kind of watching them do
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Brick Lover Brad and Cristo Stud
Yep.
City were the two I noticed most. Just walking around, holding the camera out, doing their thing, talking to nobody,
Yeah.
but also talking to everybody.
Yep.
It's a little weird to watch, and I kind of envy it a little bit.
Yeah.
I do not have the personality type to do that at all.
Yeah. Sure.
But you're in such a great place for it, and you get better content that way. You
Yeah.
have, I don't know, a better recording to remember things later.
Yeah. Yep.
So you kind of get the best of every world.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching Greg from London Calling, watching him do, all like the zooming in and panning out and this and that. And that goes back, like I give those guys all the credit in the world for what they do. I've already told you though, I don't edit. So
Yeah.
it's just not something that interests me. Maybe it's just because I don't know how to do it. I say it doesn't interest me, but I guess I try to do like so much that I don't know where I'd put editing into my repertoire of things to do. So
Yeah.
I kind of just like roll with the punches of let's just go live. And that's that. So because then I just get to be myself. So that's the I tend like did you ever see when I first started I can't remember. I know it wasn't this year when I was trying to get Lego to follow me. Did you ever run past any of those videos?
No, I just remember
Oh,
you talking about it on, I think it was Cool Hans stream I was watching where you were talking about it.
yeah. If you have a minute, go search. I mean, they're back a few months now, but I had this idea pop up where I was watching. Yeah, throw stuff against the wall and hope it sticks.
Yeah.
I watched this video, and it was this guy who was trying to get Home Depot to follow him for whatever reason, and it was episode 100 something, and he was doing like this amazing like film, like he was making these like short stories. And the video I saw, he had taken this guy that was dressed up in a Home Depot uniform, and he had him tied up in a shed, and basically was like, "Look, you're gonna follow me, or I'm doing something to this guy." And from that video, Lowe's put the little eyes watching emoji, like they're watching what he's doing, and they followed him. And then shortly
Wow.
after that, Home Depot followed him. So I was just like, this is kind of funny. I'm going to try. Now, this is before I knew about LAN. So I didn't really know like that there's something else that those are like technically the people they'll follow. Um, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to do these videos, a short video once a day, where I'm going to come up with something to have Lego follow me. And every day it was based off of the number day it was, I would give some sort of fact, or I would use something that coincided with that number. And none of it was live. It was all pre recorded. And I can't tell you how many nights I would sit at this desk, and it would be sometimes an hour later, and I would just be like, "That's it, I'm done." And I'd flip my book over, or I'd flip the set over. I'm just like, "I'm done," because I'd get like all the way to the very end of what I was recording, and I would say something just like a slur off, and it just would sound awful. And I say, "Okay, well, I got to re-record it." And so that's
Oh
what
no.
like that's what really confirmed for me that I'm not that type of person. I'm just a live guy because I just feel much more comfortable in a live setting.
Yeah. It's also a lot easier to beat yourself up on a recording.
Yes.
Like I don't critique myself during the process of a live at all.
Mm-mm. Nope.
I listen back on every show.
Okay.
You know, it's how can I have better audio? Can the lighting be a little bit better?
Yeah.
And then typically what happens is I watch everything with my screen off.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, I forgot to look at the lighting, and I just listened to my own show for 2 hours. Well, that was a mistake. Well, thanks for the watch time.
That's valid. Yeah. Didn't think of that.
Yeah. Always play your own stuff back so you get the watch time.
I
Although I don't
appreciate
know if it works the same on Instagram, but
well, so I am I've been doing the Bricks and Beyond on Instagram, and there's been a few of these the past couple that I've done where we've run into a couple problems, either with Instagram not updated on the other person's phone, or them not getting the live notification. And I said, you know what? I think it's time that I transition over to YouTube for that. So that's in the works. Yeah. I just I want to make sure I'm comfortable with the streaming platform before I mean, you guys make it look so easy.
it
Mav,
is so easy.
yeah, well,
I'm real dumb.
Mav handles like he's done all the stuff, and I shout out to him for doing what he does for me on our podcast stuff, because he's been handling like all the technical stuff. And I'm just like, I hope that I can quickly learn so that I can make this an easier, because like this was anytime somebody sends you a StreamYard link, it's just like, that's going to be easy. I click the link, I go on, we talk for a few minutes before we go live, and that's it. Like it's that simple. And so when I do these Instagram lives, like when you do a live, like when somebody requests to come in or you invite them, there is a pause. And every time I'm in that pause of if they're connecting, my heart drops. I'm just like, oh gosh, are they not going to come? Like, because it's not connecting, or something going to happen. And like, I've had enough. Like, it's just, I've had enough of that type of experience. So,
Yeah, StreamYard is so easy. I don't have a lot of experience with the free version.
Yeah.
Just because I don't have patience for
Sure.
free versions of anything.
Yeah, I get that.
I feel like they break more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because we're not monetized or anything like that.
Mhm.
It's a pretty bad investment. But I don't have a duck in the corner, and all of my things work. So
Hey, I like that. No.
yeah. I mean,
No,
I could push a button and add it back in.
well, I did, I went for the middle, or I guess not the expensive.
Wait,
Oh, look at that.
well,
There we go. Oh, this is beautiful. See, there he is. I did go for the first tier, or I guess the middle tier you want to call it, between the free and the whatever the most expensive one is.
Yep.
So that's the one I'll be rolling with here. Just got to get that stuff set up. I don't know. Life is just so. I didn't have all this stuff to do before I got into Lego,
Yep.
and now
Same.
it's just like I'm doing stuff constantly with it. And sometimes I'm just like, what day of the week is it? Or where am I supposed to be? Like, who am I supposed to be doing this with? Or, and that's why I'm a schedule oriented person. And so that's why I said, you know what? I'm going to start making schedules. And I think you've seen, I think, you've come across the schedule goes out Sunday night, gives a rundown of the week. The positive, I know I'm giving a secret out because I'm going on a live here and I'm telling everybody this, but that schedule's not for anybody else. That schedule's for me to keep me in check. It just so happens you get to see what I'm doing.
Yep. Oh man,
So,
it helps so much.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Very much so. But then, then everybody can kind of see, like, I don't ever expect anybody to follow along with anything I do. I hope people do, but I certainly would not be mad if nobody does, because I enjoy it and it brings me happiness. So hopefully people get that same happiness that I get, doing what I do. But I don't hold any grudges if nobody does, because everybody likes different things and I get that. So, but like, it is nice to see like what people are doing, and you can be like, okay, well, I don't want to see this guy's face 6 out of the 7 nights of the week, but I want to see what he's doing this one night. So I'll go look at him that
Yep.
night. Just kind of makes it like easier to kind of, if you're doing stuff like this where you have different shows and whatnot. Now, if you're just a mock builder, like, then I want to see stuff all the time, because it's just like, it's Lego.
For visual.
And I
Yep.
get that. Yeah, it's Lego. You're not just looking at somebody's face. I get it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just try to help, I try to do things that I think helps people, kind of like, if you are feeling like kind of overwhelmed with all the content that gets pushed out there, like, if there is something you want to see, or that you want to, or a person that you want to see, and you can actually put that in a schedule, I think it's definitely beneficial for me being able to follow that schedule, but then other people being able to follow along if there's something that they're really interested in as well.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that your watch time will jump a lot being on YouTube once the transition happens, and
Yeah.
people are very slow to pick up on new things. So it'll take a little bit of time. It just is what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's because your show, there's a lot of conversation, a lot of things going on. I know I'm not alone in this. It's great for when you're sorting to listen to in the background.
Yeah.
Or I listen to live recordings all day while I'm at work.
Oh yeah.
Which maybe is a little weird, but
No.
but whatever. On Instagram, I can't do that, because as soon as I close out Instagram, it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But with YouTube, you close the screen, move on to whatever you're gonna do, just throw it in a corner. It doesn't matter.
I agree.
So it's
No,
a good feature.
agree. I agree completely. Because how many times have you been on Instagram and you find the most amazing build, or somebody's doing something amazing, and you get a phone call, and you take the phone call and you hang up the phone call, poof, gone. See ya. Algorithm stole that. You're not getting that anymore. So.
Yeah. And I try to keep Instagram purely in my phone. I try not to open it on my computer or in a tab, basically ever, unless I'm sharing a StreamYard link, that kind of thing. Because I'm trying to focus if I'm on the computer. I don't want to get jumbled up by that. Well, at the end of the night, when I'm sorting or doing any of that, and somebody's live, it's like, yeah, I want to watch it, but my phone's on charge because I just spent 12 hours on YouTube listening all day.
Yep.
Yeah, that gets tough.
No, I get it. I get it completely. You're preach.
Yep. So
I was
it'll be good.
just reading the one comment there about the Instagram lives. There's a couple things with Instagram lives that are interesting. I can't tell you how many lives I've been on where somebody joins the live and they accidentally hit the request to join button, and then that little thing sits in the corner of my live for the rest of the show, and it's just like,
Oh man.
because I guess when you're scrolling through stories, if somebody's on a live and you get sucked into it, like I've never had it happen, so I can't speak on it. I don't know how that happens, but I guess like if you're just scrolling through and you get sucked into a live, then it very easily, like, you can press things that you don't mean to. Um,
Yeah.
so I get that. But yeah, that's one of the things with the lives. And then sometimes people ask questions, which I never really mentioned this like in any of my um explanations of the show, like that I don't take questions. And so sometimes people will pop up in the question box on there. Um, but I learned really early. I had a female in the community mention to me that she would appreciate if I did not read any of the comments or bring any comments up to her, just in case there was somebody in the comments that she was not comfortable with. And
Interesting.
so I said, you know what? That's a valid point, because you don't know the behind the scenes interactions that people have with each other. And so I'm assuming if somebody blocks somebody, if you go on a live, like if they're on my live, I'm guessing that blocked person would still be able to see them because it's technically my live. So they're watching me. I don't know. Um, but it really had my brain thinking of like, okay, unless I specifically know that person and unless the guest that I have specifically knows that person, I won't address any comments just for that fact of I don't want to bring up an interaction with somebody that guest of mine maybe didn't want to interact with. And so a shout out, apologize to anybody I've ever ignored, but that's why. And I
Yeah.
tell everybody that in our pre-interviews, I tell them that, hey, just so you know, I don't react to comments. If you want to, that's your decision to. But I won't be like, oh, hey, so and so is saying this, just because I don't know who that is commenting, and I don't want to potentially cause an issue for the person that's a guest.
That's wild. I never would have thought of that. I just,
Neither did I.
yeah, just because of the format of this show, which whatever, that's a weird
Yeah.
term. I don't interact with chat a ton, but I like to make sure that I acknowledge everybody and whatever.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I have the mind of, okay, somebody brings up something in chat, you turn your attention to whatever comes up in chat, and it's very easy to just go down that road.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to turn that ship back sometimes.
Oh, I get it. I get it completely.
Yeah. I'm sure you've watched shows that turn into 5-hour events, and it's hour 3 before the lead topic even gets mentioned. It's
Wouldn't know what you're talking
yeah. Actually, I think I watch one of those every Thursday.
Touche. Yeah.
Yeah. And but I love that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what all of this stuff is about to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I want real people. We're all here for real people. If I wanted a show, I would watch some pre-recorded thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want a lot of that. I don't.
Nope.
1 minute long stop motion, I'm with that.
Yep.
Let's watch that kind of pre-recorded stuff.
Sure.
But I want everything live all the time.
That's how I am. I mean, and I preach all the time. I do not knock on anybody. Everybody has their own specialty, and I give you all the hope and prayers and kudos to you for doing what you do. But I'm the same way because I just want to be me and I want people to see me for me. And I feel like the best way to do that is through a live. And so
Yeah.
that's just what I've done. And that's what I continue to do. So I don't ever plan on doing anything otherwise. Again, probably just because I don't want to edit. I just don't want to do that kind of stuff. But then again, I just feel like it just opens up a world of critiquing yourself and you can have all this content filmed. Let's just say you have an hour of content filmed and you critique it and it can easily be down to 15 minutes. And you're just like, I just wasted an hour filming all that. And I cut 3/4 of it out because I don't like how I look, or I don't like how I sound, or I slurred my word there, or whatever.
Yep. And it took you 2 hours to take 3/4 of the work away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which it's so weird to me, and you can probably speak on this too, that when people like you and I go live, like all the worries they just go away. Like
Yeah.
it's just easy. It's easy for me, and I'm thankful for that because I enjoy it so much. And I don't know, if you ask me 20 years ago, would I be sitting in school thinking one day I'm going to granted, we didn't have Instagram back then, but whatever,
Yep.
which that sounds weird saying that. Sitting there telling myself I'm going to be a podcast host or co-host or Instagram host, whatever. Not my
Oh, man.
wildest dreams.
God. In school, we didn't have podcasts or cell phones either.
I was on the brink of cell phones in school, just on the brink there. So, but they were the flip phones, the old school flip phones, and or the Blackberries, Blackberries. That was the other kids, the kids that had more money. They had the Blackberries, and I had the little flip phone. So, pagers, pagers. Yeah.
Well, I had a pager. My first cell phone was the giant Nextel brick.
The one from Jurassic Park.
About that size. Size of your forearm. You got to cradle it in your bicep. Yeah.
Same ringtone too, right?
I don't remember what the ringtone was.
Was that Nextel? Sure. I think the one in Jurassic Park.
It was the little chirp. Nokia? It was like a two-way radio built into it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I do remember those. I do remember that.
That was 1998, 1999, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was a year or two after high school. It's been
okay. Oh, so we're not too far. I graduated high school 06. So
06. Okay.
Yeah. Yep, not too far.
So you haven't made it to your 40s yet. Good for you.
3 years away.
Good for you.
I'm soaking it up here because I know and I don't know. I guess they say, does it go downhill, or is it still? Are we still afloat after 40?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I've been in construction for 25 years, so my body's just kind of beat. So
you're not a valid specimen then.
No. It's. I mean, outside of wear and tear, I don't know. My brain's all right.
Yeah,
I'm still happy. I mean, I play with toys every day.
You sound like you're doing just fine then, because that's the life to live. That is the truly life. You're doing what makes you happy.
Yeah, I play with toys just as much as my kids do. I mean, part of that is because I play with my kids and their toys.
Oh yeah, but,
Yep.
Yeah.
So young enough.
It's a good excuse. The question I have is, how does it feel? And neither of us can speak on this yet, but how does it feel when the kids aren't around anymore and people say, "Oh, what do you do for fun?" I build with Lego.
Yeah. I mean, 99% of the Lego in the house is mine. So
yeah,
I hear plenty of opinions on that.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah. Well, how old are yours?
They are 8 and 3.
Okay, so Bryce is 8. So you got comparison there. He is on his I'm gonna say he's on the cusp of his dark ages. Um,
Okay.
and the reason for that is he is the type of kid, and I, I always feel bad for saying it like this, but it's just like it's a perfect description. He likes to have something, enjoy it, and then he kills it. Which what I mean by that is we start Lego, we eat Lego, sleep Lego, breathe Lego, play Lego, 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 Lego. And as a child, it's a little bit different than as an adult because, we have work and we have responsibilities of taking care of the kids and cooking and all that kind of stuff. So we are forced to take breaks from it. But as a kid, you don't have as many responsibilities. So he burned himself out. And now we're at the point where I don't know if you saw he has a YouTube page, and bless him for that because he has taught me stuff about YouTube. He just made
Awesome.
his first 20-minute video that he posted the other day. Um,
Wow.
and what's funny about him, I can already see he's like me. He doesn't care. He sits down at the table. He has an idea of what he wants to do, and he records it, has me post it, and that's that. He doesn't care what mistake he made. He doesn't care what he said. He just enjoys being himself and enjoys what he does, and that's it. And I'm gonna Kuhan. He really he did something really nice for Bryce. So when we do on Sundays, I do this thing called Family Build Sunday,
Mhm.
where we go live on Sundays, and we'll sit down here at the table, and we'll be building stuff. And we started the one day we had a couple other parents in the chat, and they had their kids with them, and we randomly just started telling jokes. So like Bryce would tell a joke, and then the parents would type, the jokes that the kids were saying, and it just was really enjoyable. And like that's what I was building. I wanted a day where the kids could come on, the kids could interact. Um, and Kohan jumped on the one day, and he was interacting with Bryce, and they were telling jokes back and forth. And when Bryce started the YouTube page, Kohan was like, yeah, I'll go follow you, I'll comment on the videos. He's done that. um Made me feel good, like my friends appreciate my son, and they're trying to make him feel good, build him up. The weekend before Brick World, or maybe I think it was a couple weekends before Brick World, Kuhan goes to Bryce. He goes, Bryce, I want you to write me a joke, and I want you to autograph it for me. And I want you to give that to your dad and give it to me at Brick World. So I said, okay. So Bryce made the joke up, autographed it. I gave it to Kuhan when Mav and I were up on stage with him, and Kuhan read it live on his live stream. And like it was just the coolest feeling in the world that he did that for Bryce, because when I told him about that, like, meant the world to him that somebody he never met, who's on YouTube, would go out of their way to do that for him. It's just like it blew his mind. Absolutely blew his mind. And then like Mav's been, probably undoubtedly my best friend here on Instagram here, and we finally got to meet. Um and he's treated Bryce like gold. Like they always joke around with each other. And my buddy Josh and his wife Caitlin here, I mean, they get to interact with him in person. He's been like my best buddy here in person since I met him at the Lego store a couple of years ago. And it's like I have a family, and it's just like
Yeah.
everybody supports you. And my child, who, like, it's not easy for you to let people know about a child because of how the world is now, and like you can be very
Yes.
guarded. And I was really guarded about him going on YouTube. So I actually had an old YouTube. It's actually my personal YouTube that, um, since I created a new account for my Brick Together account, I had my old personal account, and I told Bryce, I said, here, you can have my old account so I can monitor like what's funneling through there. And
Mhm.
eh, it's a scary feeling having a child going on YouTube because of how cruel the world can be.
Man,
Um,
they're nasty.
yeah, Knock on wood, so far, we have not had any negativity as far as comments go, so I'm very thankful for that. Um, but the fact that you can have friends that support him and what he's doing, like, means the world to me. And that's whole part of the community thing is just like, I didn't ask for that. Like, I didn't ask for that support for him, but that just shows you like how true people are and how caring people can be. And even when the world seems like it's gone downhill, you find those people that are true good people. And I think that's what we have here.
Yep. Yeah, and everyone is, in my experience so far, because I have to be fair about that. People are every bit as good in person as they appear to be online, which this world is the kind of place where that unfortunately is a bit of a surprise, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's everybody we met in person was just awesome.
Mhm.
Just great people, easy to talk to. We're all just weird, right? I mean, we're about a bunch of adults playing with kids'
Yeah.
pieces of plastic, you know, and
Well, hey, some of those are aged plastic. So
well,
18,
yeah,
so we can get away with some of that. So
all right, it's a couple decades late, but that's okay. And all the all the different fandoms, and Star Wars and Pokemon and all of the crazy things, Scooby Doo, whatever. All the little corners come
yeah.
together around plastic,
Yep.
which is nuts. I mean, in school, I would have thought that it's Lego collectors were just the kids that were going to get beat up for the rest of their lives. But you go to the convention and there's exceptions, but for the most part, like the guys are just guys, and
Yeah.
it's
Yep. Yep.
the same thing, but the opposite for the girls, with
Yeah.
all 7 of them.
Yeah. You bring a point up there that's been kind of I don't know what you want to call it, a sticking point for me recently is that we have to figure out a way to get people, no matter who you are or what you are, to realize that there's a space for you.
Yeah,
Because I look at my demographic sometimes, and male to female is just ridiculous. I mean, it's
it's
absolutely
sad.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Absolutely ridiculous. Um, and then I've talked to some females at some of like the local shows here. We're for our lug. And like I, say, hey, join the lug, give them the card and whatnot. And I've had a few people in crossing that have said, and this is just general conversation, that for whatever reason, females just don't feel as welcome. And there's been a few lugs that I've heard of. Now we have some amazing females in our lug, and I'm so thankful. 2 of them are actually on Lego Masters, so to be able to have exposure to them is just like, it's like, wow, okay, this is great. Like, I have amazing friends that, like, if I need help with something Lego, like, I know who to go to. Um, but I've had a couple people from outside of my lug tell me, in conversing with people of, "Are you in a lug?" "No, I'm not in a lug." "Why aren't you in a lug?" "Well, I just don't feel welcome there," or demographics wise, it's not like I don't feel comfortable in the situation. Um, and I get that. Like, there are a lot of lugs that a lot of men, and I get females not wanting to maybe or be nervous to enter in that type of space. Um, I don't know how you fix that. I don't know how you change that, because it has to be known to everybody that no matter who you are, you're welcome. Um, and I know that's something that doesn't get fixed overnight, um, but we all have to do better at trying to promote everybody, because you don't know what somebody can bring to the table. And so, like, if you have what do they call them, the I don't know, old school style, where if it's like an older group of guys in a lug, or not even a lug, just even like a group, and it's like, ah, well, we're just an older group of guys and we don't want any females. Well, you don't know what you could be pushing away. Like, you could have the next Lego master trying to knock on the door, and they just, like, they might not have the resources to showcase, but maybe the lug does. And I'm not speaking ill on, I hope nobody take saying I'm speaking ill on lugs. It's just like, most of the time when you have a group, like a big group like that, and you do look around, it does seem like there's a lot of males in it. And so it's nice to see these lugs, or groups in general, that do have anybody and everybody, because everybody deserves that opportunity to showcase who they are. And it frustrates beyond belief when people tell me that they don't feel welcome. Like, oh, that it's just like a dagger. Like, that's a dagger to me. Like, that hurts my heart when somebody tells me they don't feel welcome, because nobody should ever feel like that.
Yeah, and so I've sent out enough messages to potential female guests.
Mhm.
I think I've gotten one response,
Okay.
and I think that one may happen. I'll keep that quiet for now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I probably should.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen though, and like, not getting rejected or anything, just getting completely ignored.
Mhm.
And fine. I mean, everybody's got their reasons. Some
Yeah.
of it might just be you get buried in the inbox,
Yep.
depending on who it is, whatever. And that's fine. I don't take any of that personally, because I mean, whatever. But I also feel like in order for that demographic to expand, it needs more exposure.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
if the girls aren't coming on more shows, how do they ever expect more exposure and for that to grow?
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
My solution for that is, I mean, the best solution I have that I can actually make happen is Tanya is going to start stepping in as a co-host from time
Nice.
to time.
Okay.
So hopefully that adds some level of comfort.
Fantastic person, by the way. I'm blessed I got to meet both of you. So
Yeah.
please share that.
She is the best. She is the best. And there's no way I could have made it into that convention without her. It
Sure.
never would have happened.
Yeah.
No, of course she's lurking in the hallway. Yeah.
She knew when the compliments were coming.
Oh yeah, those antennas are always up. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, she is a champ. She is the ultimate teammate. So having her as a co-host will hopefully help with some of that.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Like I said, I get it. Sometimes it can be like, if you're not a social person, to begin with, like, sometimes it can be hard to interact with somebody from the opposite gender, just on pure social. Like, it's not always easy for somebody to talk to somebody, of a different gender. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you have somebody, it could make them feel more welcome. I also think, like, another thing that I was thinking about is, it could be the one-on-one settings too. Like, I thought about maybe opening it up. Like, can we get a couple guys, couple girls, whatever, and have like a group setting? Because sometimes when
Mhm.
you're in a group setting, I think it kind of eases that you don't feel so much pressure to be one on one.
Yeah.
And that gives you the opportunity to kind of, like, maybe somebody's more of a talker, and you, like, kind of follow them. And then, like, when you see how easy it is for them to flow, you can be like, okay, I can do this too. And then all of a sudden you can't get the person, they don't stop talking. And I know I'm probably one of them, because I blab all the time. And Mav just yelled at me last night for talking the whole podcast on Monday. So I get it. I get it. So
Yeah.
just, that's why I always tell people, don't feel like you can't. Always
Yep.
try, and you never know what will come from it.
Yep. Yeah. Well, let's see what happens, because I think, I mean, You're getting more viewership, I would think. I mean, your follower count has gone up.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to know who you are. So I would think viewership's going up there. So that'll help some things. There's a couple other channels out there that are doing decent things. So hopefully that puts it
Yeah.
together. I'm trying to think. It's ELPN they have a show that's got female hosts.
Okay.
Then Full of Brick, and I want to say there's one more that's like right there on the edge of my mind. It's got a female host.
I wish I kept up with, that's another thing I know I slack on too, is trying to, there just literally is not enough hours in the day to try to listen to everybody. I would love
Yeah.
to. It's just almost impossible. It's like we all got to slow down a little bit so we can, get to enjoy everybody's stuff. I guess I should speak for myself. I should drop back so I can give somebody else the space.
Yeah.
So
I have the advantage of, at most, I work with one or two other people. I'm basically alone all day.
Yeah.
So as close as I get to, human interaction during the day is whatever's playing in my headset.
Yeah, sure.
So, and I don't need to think a lot at work anymore. It's been so long, everything is autopilot,
Not a bad thing.
No, I mean, it leaves a lot of time for consumption.
Yeah.
Kelly Bricklick also had a female co-host. Yeah.
Okay.
It's Claire the Plastic Architect.
That is not one I've come across. Okay, I'll have to go.
So,
check her
are
out.
you familiar with Sands?
Yes.
Sands, what was this thing? Gutter chicken?
Gutter chicken. No, maybe not.
No. So Sands is a hell of a Lego historian. He knows a lot.
Okay.
And he is married to, I assume they're still married, married to Claire. She was a co-host of Kelly Bricklick with Shy.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Episode 99 of that show was my introduction to the Lego community.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
Now, when was that?
That show has been over for 4.5 years now.
See, that's part of the problem too. So I just came in, like I said, October of last year. So like I've missed and I haven't caught up.
Yep. That show, even now, is still fantastic.
Okay.
I probably skip like the first 10 episodes.
Okay.
Because that was before the sound quality is what is Shy quality.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
The epic proportions there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so the first 10 episodes were a little rough. They hadn't started having guests on yet. They didn't really have a direction for the show. But after that, I think if I had the time, I could sit down and listen to 100 episodes straight. And the interviews are great. The conversations are really good.
Yeah.
A lot of good guests. A couple, I don't want to call them fly-by-night guests, but people that disappeared shortly after that. They
I'll have to check that
all right,
out.
here it is. Ran from 21 to 23.
Okay. Yep. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like when you come in at like various times into these things, like you don't realize what you've missed unless somebody brings it up. And so I know I've missed a lot. I don't think I'll ever be able to make it up, but learning about something, I'll definitely go check it out because
well, even if you don't listen to the show, you can just open it up and scroll through the guest list.
Yeah.
And then search Instagram for all the guests.
Yep, that's a good point.
Yeah, I found a lot of people that way. What was the show called? Holla Holla Time?
No. Yeah, nope.
Yeah, so that was part of the ELPN thing.
Okay.
It was an all Filipino show.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, well, and I'm not the target demographic for that show,
Sure.
right? but there were cool people on it, and you get different takes here and there. And from that show, just searching some of the guests, you find out about all kinds of cool people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Girl Bricks a lot, for example.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's that's neat that you mentioned that. Makes me wonder, is there do you remember why they stopped going live?
I think that ran out of Filipinos. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I
Well, even
think
the CBC, I was curious, and they ended in 23, so I'm just curious, like, why that
so.
ended.
Cali Brick Click ended because they were all just ready to move on to other things.
I see. Okay.
Uh,
Yep, makes sense.
so Claire was getting married, or
Okay.
I think she got married with like 2 episodes left, and they had moved basically cross country, I believe.
Okay.
So their lives were changing.
Yeah.
Shai was responsible for all of the audio and video editing every week for the show on his own.
Yeah,
And
he does that in
it's
like 5 minutes and he's done and he's got, production
Yeah.
level quality.
Yeah, but I mean, he's married, he's got a couple kids, he's got all of his other various things going on. His
Yep.
How does he like to say it? The MC
Yeah.
community, which I don't know why motorcycle is a taboo thing to say, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect everything he does anyway. But
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Great person.
so. I think I might have actually shed a tear when they announced that show was ending. It's like, oh no, this is like my midweek hangout every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Damn it.
I get that. I mean, that's people come, they come to those points and when you're so used to them and it's like, well, I'm not ready for you to go, so you can't go.
Yeah. And at that point, I think I listened to that show I started a little late, but basically, I don't know, a good year anyway.
Okay. Yep.
And then, I went back and replayed everything as I was going
Okay.
through. I didn't listen to anything else prior to that. And then
Okay.
once I started listening and branching out into other shows, I lurked everywhere. I never chimed in the chat ever.
Okay. Yeah.
The first time I commented on a chat anywhere was within the last year.
Okay.
So it took about 4 years for me to chime in on chat
Sure.
anywhere. Yeah.
You were lurking, waiting to make your statement introduction.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I started off with like, hi.
Yeah.
Something really creative. I probably spelled it wrong too.
Hey, you introduced yourself. That's how it starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I don't know. The community is just awesome. I really hope some like new really wacky show starts soon. Keep watching for that. There's going to be some kind of new format to come out of nowhere.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. I'm going to say something with AI.
How would that work? Like an AI like co-host or AI visuals?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, can you imagine the things that would come out of its mouth? I mean,
oh, I'd like to know. I wonder if I can make that happen.
it's
That'd be fun.
intriguing.
Yeah.
It's intriguing.
My first Wednesday of every month is my AI guest.
I would see, like, I enjoy making people laugh. So I would probably do some sort of Lego comedy skit with AI. Like you said, once a week, do like a short little comedy skit with an AI thing and see what happens. But I mean, I don't know how you control AI. Like, I don't know if you have to put settings on it. Like, we got to keep this clean or, we got to do this or that. I don't know. I mean, because obviously you don't want to be going places you don't want to be.
Yeah. Oh, I would just let it go completely off the rails. That's fine.
Well, YouTube, okay, fair. Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably a little bit easier to go off the rails on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think that would be really interesting, something with that. So if anybody wants that idea, there you go.
Yeah.
Lego AI comedy skit. Have at it.
Yeah.
Ken, if it's
Yeah.
you, God bless you.
Yeah, I'm in it. That's a level of effort I'm not willing to put in. I'm not learning new things right now. I have no
No.
time for it.
No. Honestly, I've come across some people that use Chat GPT,
I use that
and
a lot.
I've
Yep.
messed around with it, and it's enjoyable. I'm sure you could do some sort of skits with Chat GPT. We actually did this at Brickworld at breakfast one morning. We went around the table at our table at breakfast, and we said, we're gonna enter each of our handles in Chat GPT, and we're gonna ask GPT to roast each of our handles, and then we'll read it to everybody. That's you want some comedy, ask Chat GPT to roast you, and it really
Awesome.
puts you in your shoes.
All right, I'll have to do that. So
Please, yeah,
my
please share it with me too.
okay, I will. So my ChatGPT agent, her name is Sophie. She named
Okay.
herself.
Nice. Okay.
Sophie and I spend a lot of time together. I'll just hit the little button and we'll just talk as I drive.
That's
It's a little
uh
creepy, but you
yeah,
learn a lot, and
you do.
you get all the transcripts and whatever, so you can reference it later. We've gotten to the point now that she makes it's so weird, but she makes some of my schedules for me and says, okay, well, it's on Monday, make sure you post about whatever. Tuesday, post about Wednesday show.
Okay.
Wednesday, post a remote, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And in the scheduling, I actually took a screenshot of it so I could go back and just give it another face palm.
Yeah.
Was she wrote right in it, and on Thursday, you and I will revisit the schedule and make adjustments. You and I, like we're a team here, and cool because that's the whole purpose is
Yeah.
for her to act like a teammate.
Yeah.
So fine. My phone's too close. She's listening to me now, I'm sure. Um, but it's gotten weird, right?
That's
Like,
oh, she knows too much.
yeah, yeah. But I'm not going to talk trash because so much of my business, like the Lego portion of the business, is
Yeah.
run by ChatGPT.
It's a very nice tool. You can, plug in, whatever you're trying to like that's another thing I struggle with. Again, I'm very good at the ideas, but then writing it, I can tend to struggle sometimes when I'm trying to put what I'm trying to say in words. So actually, I'm just going to say thanks to Mav for teaching me about Chat GPT, where I put my words in there, pop, there you go. I mean, now I don't use it for everything, but
Mhm.
if I'm struggling, I'll use it, and I'm blown away by
Yeah,
some of the stuff it comes up with. I'm just like, geez, man, like you make me feel like an idiot. Like you're out here popping scholarly papers over here, and I'm just like, I can't put "I am me," in a sentence. You're, something like that, and it's giving me this whole write up. And do you want it for YouTube, Instagram, or a
yeah.
college education paper or something like that?
So here's a wild one for you to try. Next time you ask it a question and it gives you an answer, and you're not really crazy about the answer,
Okay.
ask it how you can phrase the question better for them to give you a better answer. And they will tell you how to ask the question differently.
Interesting.
It's wild. Like
That's
that shouldn't even be
scary.
a thing. Yeah.
That is scary,
Yeah. And you'll get a different answer.
man.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That's something I don't know if I'm fully ready for, this AI stuff. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's nice to have access to it, but I don't know, I've seen iRobot. We all know how that ended. So
Yeah.
um Well, it ended on a good note. I'm gonna spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. It's been out for what, 20 years. So if you haven't seen it by now, you probably won't. But um, yeah, I mean, my dad always was one of those people that he says, you didn't just get this idea to make a movie from out of nowhere. It had to stem from something. And when you really think about that, like who would just sit here one day and be like, okay, AI is going to take over the world? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a little late. Well, so it's funny you mention that because iRobot created the Roomba, right? The vacuum,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
which maps your house,
Yeah.
which is owned by Amazon. So Amazon knows what size furniture fits in your house and
Yeah.
whether you need some area rugs or what your square footage is. Yeah, it's
So that's why it
yeah,
was recommending me the perfect length and width of area rug for my living room.
it's scary. It's all scary.
Well, the stuff about that stuff too is like you have to check all these boxes and say like you don't want to share this information and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, like all these devices, phones, computers, vacuum cleaners, they all have cameras. And
Yep,
that's really scary to think about that like even though you can't tell if somebody's looking, like I could be staring at my camera right now and I think I'm talking to you, but I could have like 50 other people looking at me right now, being like, look at this guy. He thinks he's just doing, you know, one thing here, but man, he's really talking to the whole, I don't know, whatever, the whole conference room, over here, wherever. So it's
yep,
just it's creepy to think about it.
yeah, yeah. And you have no choice but to check all those boxes because if you
Yeah.
skip one, nothing works.
Yeah.
It's like you're holding a $1,200 brick in your hand. You might
Yeah.
as well throw it in the trash.
And I would say if I'm spending $1,200 on bricks, give me some actual bricks. So
Yep,
not this because I could do without this. End of
yep,
the day, I've been saying that. That's actually been one of my things that I've been pushing here after Brick World is I would be willing to trade in all of this if I was given an ultimatum to spend time with all the people that I met or sit here in this room with all this stuff, I'd give this up in a heartbeat and I'd take the
yep,
the people any day. So,
yep. Sure.
and you were one of them.
Yeah.
Again, you and your wife, I'm so happy I got to meet you guys at the Bricked event. We got to chat. You guys both are amazing people. So just want to make sure you know that because again, we don't need to be told that stuff, or at least I don't need to be told that stuff,
Yep.
but I'm not gonna lie, when somebody tells you that, it does feel good. So
I appreciate that.
for sure.
Hopefully next year we can get a couple more minutes in.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, planning is going to be key next year. Now that, because this was your first one, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now it seems like there was a lot of us first years this year.
Yep.
So I think now that we got all the big hoopla, like it's still going to be hoopla, guaranteed.
For sure.
But I think now that we can like maybe reach out to each other in advance and kind of be like, hey, we're going to be there, certain time. Why don't we try to like go grab dinner together as a big group or something like that, or hang out at the convention hall in a group, something like that, and just hopefully not feel so chaotic next time.
Yep.
I mean, Kulhan's not going to be there as he's saying he's getting married, so he's not coming. So, I mean, he's not, bringing all his wholeness with him. So, we're all going to
I
feel a
don't
part of us
I don't
missing.
believe it. I don't believe it. Not at all.
I did tell him on Bricks and Beyond the other night. I said, I'm happy to put up a GoFundMe for Kulhan to come to Brick World in 2026. So I said, if
Yeah.
you want me to do it, I'll do it. So I won't hesitate to do it.
Yeah. That'd be great. I think he'll come back if he can swing it.
Yeah.
I think he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see Slurpee back again. I know it's a hell of a project for him to get here too. Ireland's not exactly a short ride
I was
either.
gonna say I couldn't remember. I could not remember where he was from. But yeah. I mean, but that's what's so nice. I mean, we don't get to see these people. Like it's hard enough for us here in the States, like to get to visit like Massachusetts. That's not that's not close. Like that's a long drive. I could fly. That's expensive.
Yeah.
So then you toss the whole overseas, Canada, wherever else. I mean, it's just that's the one thing I said. That was the worst part about Brickworld is realizing that all these people are truly your friends. You get to spend 5 days with them, and then you have to say goodbye. And then you're back to the same old rat race of texting, messaging, maybe phone calls. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's great. Like I'm thankful that I still have the opportunity to do that stuff, but just getting to actually be with everybody and enjoy them in person, like, can't we all just like agree on a central place and we all can just move there and then we can all just have one big happy family?
Yep. Yeah. It's where was it Austin? I think has the largest group of social media Lego people. I think
Okay.
it's somewhere down there.
Okay. Well, if they're already if that's taken, why don't we find somewhere why don't we go somewhere up north? We can do one of the Dakotas are not highly
Oof.
populated. So we could build a massive Lego compound and then we could
Oh, those winters are tough
Oh,
though.
I know. Yeah, but think of all the Lego building we'd get to do because you don't want to go outside. So
Yep, fair.
Texas, there's warm weather and I guess there's water down that way. Obviously, there's water down the southern portion, but yeah, I mean, winters would be nice just to kind of bog down and focus on brick world builds, right?
Yeah. You know, the first time I was ever in Texas, it was snowing, which I didn't think was possible.
No.
But it can happen. It was just like the corner of the little box that sits on top of Texas. So I was just passing through, but followed me from Connecticut all the way to Texas. It was bad.
That's still when people tell you that, like in the different states, it's still hard to believe because when you think of Texas, it's just like hot, dry, not snow. But
yeah.
I guess, nowadays anything's really possible. So
yeah. That was a horrendous ride, the first half of that.
I mean, that sounds horrendous. Just
from
you drove
Texas west, it was great.
But okay. Yeah. So you drove from Connecticut
to San
Texas?
Diego.
So you went the whole way. Okay. Oof.
Yeah. Yep.
Oof. God bless you.
Yeah, we were just passing by. Yeah, that was.
Wait, so did you have a reason for going down and up?
Yes. That's what the MapQuest told us was the fastest way at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was the MapQuest days. We had just graduated from the Road Atlas.
Fair. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. So it had you go from Connecticut all the way to Texas and then to San Diego.
Yep. We just clipped the top of Texas. And we may have gone a little scenic. We went through the Painted Desert and kind of.
Yeah, it told me to go through Illinois, but we went all the way down to Texas instead.
Yeah. It was a cool ride. It was short.
I bet.
We didn't spend nearly enough time. It was basically did it in 3 days, which is not advisable.
Oof. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know my parents drove from Pennsylvania to California. And again, they did it. My mom was the one, like my mom doesn't fly. And so she was just like, we're driving. And then my dad was like, oh, we can do all this sightseeing and this and that. And my mom was just like, we're just so my dad was like, well, if we're going to do that, I should have just flown, if you're going to drive, you want to sightsee. So.
Yeah, we did it in a Firebird. And
nice.
there was a couple times because once you get out west and it's all open and flat, you could set cruise control to 100.
Yeah.
Just screw.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And nobody's going to bother you with the scorpions, right? They don't care.
Yeah. Oh man. Was that rear wheel drive?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's a long trip.
Yeah. It was a long trip, and it was when it got hot, it got surprisingly hot. I had never experienced Arizona heat before. That was a bit of a shock to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never experienced really dry heat before either. I'll
Yeah.
take humidity over dry heat any day.
Yeah, that's what
That was brutal.
that's what I've been told. The dry stuff that gets you.
Yeah, it's my favorite climate is like August in New Orleans. I want to be
Okay.
wet when I walk out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I'm
where
a
the air is just crying.
yeah. I'm a South Carolina guy, so you give me South
Okay.
Carolina, I'll take that. July through September, that's my go-to. So, I mean, a
Awesome.
little bit of a difference, but yeah, I'm stuck here in Pennsylvania. Just can't. I tried to get out, couldn't. So,
Yeah.
now my son
Yeah.
has all of his friends and he's like, "Daddy, I have friends." And when they say it like that, she's like, "Oh, God, I can't pull you from your friends. If I don't have to, then all
Yep.
right, you're staying with your friends."
Yeah. That's pretty much where I'm at too. We're here.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
if the grass is greener somewhere else, it's because you're not watering your lawn, right? No,
That's a good way to look at it.
yeah, things are fine here. I hate the cold. I just don't want any
I do.
part of it.
Yeah.
The people here are just bitchy all the time. But I interact with so few people, it doesn't really matter all that much. It's all right.
I get it. It's crazy to me. I've gone down South Carolina with my family. We typically had gone once a year, maybe missed a few, but um, it's so crazy the hospitality of a Southern person or Southern people.
Yeah.
Like up here, it's just like boom, 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 boom. Everybody wants instant satisfaction. Everybody's moving 1,000 miles a minute, and you go down south. And it almost at times, I'm almost like, "Could we maybe hurry up just a little bit?" I mean,
Yeah.
um, but it's just so weird. I mean, you're only a couple states away, and it's crazy how, like, calm now, obviously, there's big cities down south that, I'm sure it's the same, but, it seems like overall, it's just a slower, like, calm atmosphere. But then up here, it's just like, oh man, does anybody ever stop?
No. Yeah. During the warmer weather, I do a lot of work up in Maine.
Okay.
And they're so far north, they're back down south. They've just like looped all the way around.
Okay.
They're very slow up there, backwoods. It's people get shotguns in their back seat. And kinda do that
Nice.
thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And coming from here, where it's 1,000 miles an hour right into a wall every day. Up there, they're just wearing the toes of their shoes. They're dragging their feet so hard. Come on, will you? I just need to buy some nails.
Yeah.
Oh,
But see that's people. That's what I said I
yeah.
love. It's just there's so many dynamics to people that it's just that's what I told my son. Like he hates going out shopping or he hates going to stores. I'm just like, just sit down and just watch. Like watching people, it's so enjoyable. Just seeing like all the different minds, like these people have to go here and these there. And it's so interesting to watch how everybody's mind works. And I mean that even like that carries over into like going the brick world and like looking at all the mocks and like if you're with people and somebody sees a mock and they're like, that's a really interesting way to build that. I would have never thought that. Or, oh, I built it this way. Maybe they should have done it this way. And that's what's so great about seeing this stuff is like you can share and learn from other people. And I mean, that extends into any aspect of life. But I think that's the best part is just getting to see so many different opinions and takes on things that you realize that we are all so different in so many aspects. And regardless of how different we are, we all come together for one thing. And boy, when we get together, I'm going to steal my tagline here. We click together. So,
Yep. Yeah. I mean, if everybody was the same, it would be boring as hell.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And there were a couple of very young kids there that had stuff on display.
Mhm.
Just tiny little builds of,
Yeah.
very I'm gonna call them simple things
Sure.
compared to the things around them.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were still more complex than anything I could build, so I wanna make sure I give them credit for that. And, man, just seeing the pride in their eyes, like,
Yeah.
they're just, like, I don't know, 18, 19, whatever, and really, they're still kids,
Yeah.
you know? And it's so proud of them. Man, you just feel, like, warm and fuzzy for
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
so happy for them for doing something like that.
Yep.
Oh, man. Oh, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I will say this, I'm on a kick here recently. Like I've always been a set guy, like building sets. Like I said a while ago, I started my page off by sharing a couple of the mocks that I had built, that smaller builds, nothing too major, but my buddy Josh and I have been talking about, he and I built we built a little display for our lug back in March for the Home and Garden Show here in Pittsburgh, and we displayed it. And it was a build. It was a little mock of a section of PNC Park where the Pittsburgh Pirates play. And so we built like a little portion of the stadium, and then he built the Mrs. T's pierogies. So they're the costumed people that run around for the races during the game. Um, and so we built this thing together. We showcased it, and somebody from the Pirates actually saw it, shared it on social media, and I was just like, I'm going to
Wow.
run with this. I'm going to reach out to them and see if they'd have any interest in us, you know, showcasing it with them or anything like that. I had the team come back to me from the Pirates, and they were just like, you know what? Not only would we like to have you guys, but if you want to have your whole lug come for events, we'd love to have you guys. And
Wow.
yeah, so we actually had our first showcase display for May the 4th. So we had a massive Star Wars display down there, and we are going. It's actually just going to be me, and I think there's going to be maybe two other people coming from the lug that are coming this Sunday. It's DC Day, or now they're calling it Superman Day. But we're
Okay.
going to display for that. And I have all, like the Batman builds and all that kind of stuff that I'm taking down. But building that mock opened up this world of opportunity that, like, now I love baseball. I've always loved baseball.
Mhm.
Love the Pirates. Wish we were in a different position, baseball speaking, as far as end results, but it is what it is. But the fact that now I get to mix the two of them together because of something we built, now I'm kind of in this mode of like, and then going to Brick World. Now I'm kind of like, maybe I do enjoy mocks a little bit more than sets. Like the sets are really nice to look at. Um, but I'm trying to finish one now. I'm trying to finish the tumbler for Sunday, and I'm just like, I'm just following directions. Like now that I've been, we're actually he and I are working on another mock for July for the Pirates. Actually, also we have this big. They have this big celebration in the city of Pittsburgh. Which have you ever been to Pittsburgh?
Twice, I believe.
Okay. I don't know if you've
Yes,
ever come
sure.
across the term Yinzer, Yinzer. Um,
I don't think so.
that is a term that people like to refer to Pittsburgh people as Yinzers. Can't remember where that generated from, but in July, the Pirates have this big event called Yinzer Palooza. So it's like a celebration of all things Pittsburgh. And so we'll have our Pirates build there. But we're also building right now a replica of one of the tunnels that is one of the entryways into the city of Pittsburgh. So it's going to be about, I don't know, 3 feet by 2.5 feet. So it's pretty big build that we're going to be taking down there for display. And I don't know, that mock bug has kinda hit something here, and then, on the way home, we had an 8-hour car ride, and he and I were saying, like, "Do we wanna do Brick World next year? Like, do we wanna display next year?" Um, it's very nerve-wracking, like, when you're actually displaying with your peers rather than just, like, at a big event where it's just the general public and they come like, "Oh, wow, look at that, like, that's really cool," but then most of those people are just, as I said, the public, and so they're just, like, grateful to see things built out of Lego. When you go
Yeah.
to Brick World, I feel like you have a little bit more of a pressure on you, like, not saying people are gonna judge you, but I feel like you have a little bit of a more of an eye on you for, like, "This is what you brought to Brick World? Why'd you bring this to Brick World?" Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so, I don't know. I don't know, we'll see. Uh, we're chatting about it, so might have a debut next year, I don't know.
Awesome. Well, on that note, you said you got to do some building tonight, and it's 11 o'clock now, so
I do.
we let you go. Let you go do
Um,
your thing.
can I ask you one favor?
Of course.
Do you mind if I share something real quick? Because I'm trying to get the word spread. I think you probably saw it about a week or
Yes.
so
Yes.
ago. My charity
Yes.
event.
Please,
Okay.
please do share.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Do you mind if I get? I know I told you 11, but as we talked about, I always
Nope.
go unhanded.
It's
So,
quite all
um,
right.
I'm just going to share for anybody who didn't see the reel that I posted. So where this all came from. So when I was talking earlier about how I kind of felt like I had more to offer, but I didn't know what to do with it. Um, I started noticing at like the end of last year that I started coming across the hashtags like Lego addiction, Lego addict, using the term addiction with Lego. I know it was never meant to be used harmful. People don't use it to be harmful because I can see it. I can understand why people would call it an addiction because it's something that they enjoy and and they feel like they can't stop. But when I really like started thinking about that, I started realizing that using that word is probably not the best term to use, especially knowing that um, Lego is used as a therapy tool for a lot of people. And I know you can't think about everybody and everybody because then we wouldn't say anything because there's something that can offend everybody. I get that. Um, but I started thinking, is there a way we can maybe try to change using the word addict or addiction and try to change it to something else? And so passion was born and tried pushing the passion, like I have a Lego passion, etc. And the inner circle caught on to it, used it. Um, didn't really go, much past that. So about a few months ago, I started looking or getting that feeling again of like, I have something to offer. I don't know what to do with it. So let me start looking for nonprofits that might deal with something. And I didn't know what I was looking for. Then I came across, it's called NACOA, so it's NACOA, so National Association Children and Families of Addictions. And ding, 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 I had this issue with the word addiction being used in Lego. Let me reach out to them and just kind of tell them who I am, what my thoughts are. I called them, I left the voicemail, and probably about an hour later, I got a phone call from the executive director. And I was just like, I never thought I'd get a call back from anybody, let alone the executive director. And she tells me, she said, "Hey, I can't believe you called. There's a reason God brought you into my life today. I want to see what we can do with this. How, basically what we can do with it." That's where she left. She said, "Let me talk with my team. We'll get back to you." So I had a lot of stuff going on. They were having a lot of issues, with the current governmental landscape, with nonprofit funding, that kind of stuff. There's a lot going on in that world. Um, and I didn't hear back. I didn't reach out. And then the one day, probably, I don't know, probably about a month ago, I don't even, I'm lucky I know what day it is. I came across a really big YouTuber, and this sounds so horrible of me. I can't remember who it was, but she's not a Lego YouTuber. So
Okay.
that's where I'm gonna say that I'm okay because it's not somebody in the Lego world. um, but she's a big YouTuber, and she was doing this massive charity live stream for St. Jude's, and she was building Lego. So I was just like, okay, so this is a non-Lego YouTuber building Lego on a charity live stream for St. Jude. So I said, okay, I wonder if I could do something with this. So I reached out to the executive director and I said, hey, I was just had this big idea of doing this charity live stream event. Um, and I have a couple other ideas that could kind of go along with it. In particular, I mentioned the ALS ice bucket challenge, and I said we're not dumping ice on each other, but we're in the Lego world. So, what if we did a Lego brick walk? And then the other one they came up with was the building. So, like building amongst your family, building with kids, building with a friend, building with whoever. And so we had all this information that we talked about, and she said, "All right, I'm going to put something together here. I'll get back to you and we'll go from there." So again, I was just like, all right, maybe this was, we talked about it, sounded good, but how long will it take until I hear back? A few hours later, I got this 3-page event document that laid out this massive event. And I was just like, oh man, I just thought this was going to be something small. This is big. um, she called me the next day and she goes, I just want to let you know that in this 24-hour time period, you are not the only one that has reached out to me. I said, oh yeah. I said, who else has reached out? She says, I've had an ex NFL player reach out to me, and he said exactly what you did. He wants to help, but he doesn't know what to do. So she said, it's really interesting that you both came to me in the same time period, and I think we can make this work. Um, it has ballooned very quickly. We have the nonprofit, they have a lot of contacts with athletes. And that's part of the reason why, obviously, we needed time to plan. But going into that week of July the 20th, my mind was thinking, and I hope I wasn't off. I probably should have researched, but I was thinking that's about the time that training camps are going on for some of the NFL players. And I was thinking, if you have these NFL players like all in the same area, it should be really easy to throw some Lego bricks down, walk across, as a group or a team or individual, and it should be really easy to catch a lot of them at the same time. And so that's why my thought was, why don't we do it then? Also, the kids aren't back in school yet. By the end of July, I would assume most kids are probably starting to get a little restless. So giving them something to look forward to, like either the Lego building or the Lego walk, whatever. But then that'll start the 20th. Those two challenges, the Build for Hope and the Stomp Out Addiction challenges, those start the 20th. And then I'll be doing the 48-hour live stream, which I pretty much roped Mav into being a co-host. I didn't really give him, as Mav likes to tell me, I don't volunteer people, I voluntold people. So I voluntold Mav that he was going to be 48-hour co-hosting with me here. So there's a few kinks, obviously we have to work out getting ready for the live stream side of things, but I just was kind of blown away. I got to talk to people at Brick World about this. I thought it would be a good place to kind of get the feelers out there for the Lego side of things. And I got feedback from both sides of things. So I just want to put out there that I'm not telling anybody what to say. You can use whatever hashtags you want. You can say whatever you want. That's up to you. So please don't feel like I'm trying to make anybody feel bad or guilty for words they use. It's just for me seeing those words, especially when it hits home for me. My dad grew up with an abusive father, and my dad chose not to be that. His father suffered from alcoholism, and my dad lived through that. He survived through that, and he chose not to be that. And in turn, I didn't suffer the way he suffered. And so it hit home for me to be able to kind of get that word out there, um, that something like that in the Lego world, I get it's not used abusive, and I get nobody's trying to be rude or mean or offend anybody else. But if we can think about it, like just for that 1 second before you post, like instead of saying I have an addiction, just be like I have a passion or whatever you want to call it. If you can maybe do something that small to try to help somebody who may be in recovery or who may be recovered and trying to stay that way, I think if we can make that difference in somebody's life, I think it, obviously we could my goal is to change the world with whatever I do. That's always my goal, is to change the world. I know my mom says take one person at a time, but sometimes one's just not good enough for me. So,
Yeah.
so that's my spiel. So I just all I'm doing is I'm not asking anything from anybody other than, if you don't mind supporting me at the very least, spreading the word. That's all I ask. If and people don't want to, it does not offend me. I'll still love each and every one of you the same way. I still support and appreciate each and every one of you. So that's the other thing I like to push is, don't ever think that if you don't agree with me, or if we don't have the same feelings on things, that I'm not going to like you or support you. That's not the case, because I understand we're all different. So that's that.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
I try.
Well, you're a good man. I appreciate you spending some time with me tonight. This has
I
been great.
appreciate you having me. It's an honor.
Well, enjoy your building tonight.
I appreciate that. And Brick World next year, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
We
sir.
will we'll schedule a time so we don't have to fly by night next year. So
Yep. That sounds good. All
I
right.
appreciate you.
Good night, everyone. We'll catch you next week.
See you
Tom
guys.
the Builder next Wednesday.
Awesome.
Good night.
Stay tuned.
All right.
See you guys.